Have you ever seen a beetle with a shiny metallic coat? Meet the Japanese beetle, a creature that's as beautiful as it is bothersome. These tiny invaders are infamous for wreaking havoc in gardens across the globe. But don't go anywhere. At the end of this video, we'll test your knowledge with some fun trivia questions about these shimmering pests. Let's dive in. Japanese beetles, or Papillia japonica, are small, oval-shaped insects with a stunning iridescent green and bronze shell. They're native to Japan, where they're kept in check by natural predators and environmental conditions. However, when these beetles were accidentally introduced to North America in the early 20th century, they quickly became a major agricultural and garden pest. Measuring about ½ an inch long, these beetles are small but mighty in their destruction. They're especially fond of roses, grapes, and fruit trees. Once they take a liking to a plant, they skeletonize the leaves, leaving behind only the veins. It's like nature's own lacework, beautiful to look at, but devastating for the plant. Understanding the life cycle of Japanese beetles can help us figure out how to manage them. These beetles go through 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Female beetles lay their eggs in the soil during the summer. After hatching, the larvae feed on the roots of grass and other plants, which can cause damage to lawns. By late spring, the larvae pupate and emerge as adults, ready to feast on your garden. These adults live for about 30 to 45 days, but during that time, they can cause a surprising amount of destruction. They often gather in large groups, making the damage even worse. So, what can you do if these pests invade your garden? There are a few strategies. First, hand-picking beetles in the early morning or late evening when they're less active is an effective method for small infestations. Just drop them into a bucket of soapy water. For larger infestations, consider using traps or applying insecticides, but be careful not to harm beneficial insects like bees and butterflies. Another option is to introduce natural predators like tachinid flies and nematodes, which target Japanese beetle larvae. Additionally, planting resistant species such as marigolds or begonias can help protect your garden. Japanese beetles thrive in areas with warm summers and mild winters. Without the natural predators they have in Japan, their populations can grow unchecked in new environments. Plus, their ability to fly makes it easy for them to spread to new areas, especially if they find tasty plants to eat. Interestingly, their metallic sheen, while beautiful, serves no practical purpose for the beetle. It's simply a byproduct of the microscopic structure of their shells, which reflects light in a way that creates their shimmering appearance. Did you know that Japanese beetles have a peculiar way of choosing where to feast? When they find a plant they like, they release pheromones that attract even more beetles to the same spot. This is why infestations often seem to explode overnight. Another fun fact is their unique movement. Japanese beetles are clumsy flyers and often bump into things while in the air. Despite this, they're surprisingly persistent and will return to the same plant repeatedly. Lastly, their larvae or grubs play a key role in the ecosystem by aerating the soil as they move through it. Unfortunately, they cause more harm than good in most gardens by destroying grass roots. Now, it's time to see how much you've learned from today's episode. We've got 3 fun trivia questions coming up. Ready? Let's start. Question number 1. Which part of the plant do Japanese beetles primarily target? The correct answer is B, the leaves. Japanese beetles are infamous for skeletonizing leaves, which means they eat all the green tissue between the veins, leaving behind a lace-like pattern. This unique feeding behavior severely affects the plant's ability to photosynthesize, a critical process for its survival. Photosynthesis is how plants convert sunlight into energy, and without intact leaves, this process is hindered. While they might occasionally snack on flowers or stems, their main target is always the leaves because of the nutrients they provide and their accessibility. Question number 2. What is the native range of Japanese beetles? The correct answer is C, Japan. Japanese beetles originated in Japan, where natural predators such as certain wasps and environmental conditions help keep their populations in check. Unlike in North America, where these natural predators are absent, Japan's balanced ecosystem prevents the beetles from becoming an overwhelming problem. When they were accidentally introduced to the United States in the early 20th century, the lack of natural control mechanisms allowed their population to explode, turning them into one of the most notorious garden pests. Question number 3. How long do adult Japanese beetles typically live? The correct answer is B, 30 to 45 days. Though their lifespan is relatively short, adult Japanese beetles manage to cause significant damage during their 30 to 45 days of life. They congregate in large numbers, with groups often swarming and feeding on the same plants. This behavior amplifies their destructive power. Interestingly, despite their short lives, their impact is long-lasting as their larvae or grubs continue damaging plants by feeding on roots, particularly in lawns. These dual phases of destruction make them a persistent challenge for gardeners. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.